I am thrilled to welcome back the uber talented and lovely Asha Mody. How are you, Asha?
Hey, Tom. Good to see you. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm really well. I'm so excited for today. I loved your first session, and this one is even more focused around packaging design, which is just your absolute area of expertise. I'm really excited. Let's jump right in if you're happy to share. I know you've got an incredible presentation.
Today, we are going to talk how to create packaging design that sells, which is most exciting topic for me because it's a joy when I see my designs are coming on the shelf, and it's just some different fulfillment when I see the design somebody's buying from the shelf, and it just makes me happy. So I'm very passionate about this topic. So let's dive in. So packaging on a product matters just as much as the product itself. So if the product is good inside and it's tasty, it's clean ingredients, or it's super functional, very sleek, and everything is good, but the packaging is not good, nobody's going to buy the product. So packaging matters a lot as much as the product itself matters. Each year, 30,000 products comes in the market, and the market is just flooding, but only 5% of these products will survive the first year.
Wow,
And
I didn't know that. That's pretty
yes,
shocking.
yes, data shows more than 30,000 now, and now digital products are also coming so much in market, especially after COVID time, Tom, you know that. And yeah,
Hmm.
only 5% products survive. And you know why? What's the problem, Tom? The problem, consumers are busy, they have a very short attention span, they have no time to compare different products, no time to compare pros and cons sometime. They are in rush to buy, and market is too noisy and there's so much competition. So that's why you need to be really mindful what kind of packaging and product you should design, which really differentiate from the market and catch the attention of your consumer in a click of seconds. But packaging has so much power in this noisy market to stand out. According to the data of West Rock Packaging and Packaging of the World, and even Harvard data had showed that 81% of consumers tried something new because the packaging caught their eyes. 30% business report an increase in revenue when they improve the product packaging. 52% of consumers are willing to pay a little extra for the product if they like the packaging. And 63% of consumers purchased a product again because of the appearance of the aesthetics of the packaging. So,
And Asha, I'm
mhm.
going to make a guess here. So I bet some of these numbers are even higher because people often do this stuff subconsciously as a consumer. So 52% are saying, yes, me, I'm willing to pay more in a survey or whatever, but I guarantee there's even more people that won't admit it, but subconsciously they are doing it.
Yes, we have studied this psychology. Like in my course, I go deeper in the buyer psychology and how they make the buying decision. And sometimes you must have seen, Tom, you went, or I want to see in the chat, type yes if you have done this. You go to the store and you like to buy a water bottle or one piece of chocolate or one or two items, but you always end up buying more than 3 to 4 items. Does that happen to you, Tom?
It happens all the time, Asha.
Yes. And there is a behavior behind it because we get connected and relate with some product or authenticity of it or something desires, and we picked up more than one or two product what we actually need. And there is a psychology behind it. But for this reason, I would like to say, like, remember right now, your refrigerator, for example, have more than 15 to 20 brands right now. Or have you come in, how many brands do you remember? Or have you come across any packaging design or any product that, oh, you really remember that and you picked up by the
Yeah,
branding or by the packaging?
I got one, Oatly, for
Yes.
oat milk.
Yes, oat milk. It's so powerful. That's my favorite brand for my coffee. I'm vegan and I love Oatly for sure. And love that design is so attractive, fun, and whimsical. And especially, I align with brand because it has aligned with my value. It's sustainable. It cares for earth and environment. and that's why I become a repeated buyer. So there is lots of psychology goes behind when you design the packaging also. So let's go to the next. Especially the package design is one of your most powerful tool to differentiate yourself from your competitors. You must have come across, definitely we are design people, and you must have come across the Apple or Mac, very clean and minimalistic packaging design. The experience of unwrapping the Mac Pro book or the iPhone or a watch, it's just unforgettable. The experience they give, it's like fresh paper sand or the smooth finish on the packaging, and it's so clean that you feel uplifted, you feel classy, and you connect with that brand so much. But it's very simple and it's clean, and the experience they have created is just unforgettable. Like if you go to the store and you can't walk out, if you see the Apple packaging, you like to stop and have a glance there. I want to tell you one story behind it. This brand launched in 2013. Virtually, it was unknown. Like hardly people knew this brand is going where. In 2014, this RxBar, if you see on the left side of the packaging, it has a bold type and the blueberry, and it was selling only 2 million was sales in 2014. It was not going the way it should go brand. Why? Because it was not showing the strength of the brand, the strategy of the packaging was not done, and the key ingredient, the north star of the brand, are very clean ingredients was not that much visible on the packaging on the first side. What happened? They did the redesign of the packaging and a drastic change in the packaging, a bold and clean approach made them superstar overnight. Like having not seen, not bought. That was a theory. On the left side, their ingredients was not seen. That was a key selling point for them. But on the right side, if you see 3 eggs, almonds, cashew, it's a very clean, bold, and simple packaging. The results, it happened 160 million sale in 2017. Only in 3 years, that jumped so much, only by checking. And they also got attention of new customers. They got lots of retailers and distributors. They started going in the international market, and the Kellogg's company finally bought them RxBar at $600 million. So the power of packaging, you
Ooh.
can see.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But at the same time, you must have heard about the orange juice if you use the Tropicana brand. And they had used a very different packaging, and it was the orange with the straw is the iconic image of that brand. And they all of a sudden, without planning, did the orange glass, and they launched in the market. So consumer got confused that is it the same brand? They didn't announce well. They didn't had a proper strategy before it, and the brand suffer. And they saw the consumers are not buying that because it was drastic change in design that was not properly planned and staged, and gave education to customer upper hand ahead of time, and that caused them really cost, and they had to rechange to their original design. So how do you make a decision why it is important to redesign packaging, or how you design? It is a strategically approach. It's just not pretty looking design that doesn't sell in the market. It has to be well thought and strategically designed.
I saw a few comments saying the original RX bar looks like every other bar. It's
Yes,
not
it's not
differentiating.
standing. Absolutely. And that's so important, Tom, to differentiate into the market. It is so much noisy, like more than million thousand protein bars are in the market. How do you differentiate yourself? It depends on how you understand your consumer, how do you understand their pain points and needs, and how do you communicate those things through your packaging and really relate with them. And that's how you differentiate. So slowly today, I'm going to show in my demo too what are the key tips, and I will give you actionable tips you can apply into the next project. So end of the session, everybody who are attending today, they will have these tools ready in their pocket and tips ready so they can make their packaging more impactful. So I will show a small demo, And I will not go in a very technical design detail because in 1 hour time I want to give you more value. But if you have question, I'm here to answer. But I will show you my process. How can you make the impactful packaging design which really sells in the market? So let's begin. So I'll share first some tips with you. Whenever you design packaging, the first step you keep in mind about the clarity. It has to be easy to understand as much as possible. Like, I would highly recommend that today's consumer, as I mentioned earlier, they have very short attention span, according to the study of Harvard and um, Mentor and lots of design. I have studied that maximum time average consumer spends on the dedicated on the product is 4 seconds. So it's your job as a designer, have you design in 4 seconds how the consumer can pick up your packaging. Their attention span is 4 seconds. So I would give you this exercise. If you want to go and do it by yourself in weekend, go to the supermarket or go to the Amazon. Also, digital has little different things, but go and glance some random products in the market, okay, and see what product is what is the product for, and do you know what is the brand behind it. First, you need to understand easily how is the product, what is the product, and what is the brand behind it. There are lots of strategy and technical goals behind it. I share that in my store, but the first thing comes is the clarity. You need to be so clear that easy to understand what product it is. So on the right side, you see I had designed the mayo packaging, very bold. The mayo, what does it understand? It makes from avocado, which shouts out, and it's very clean and simple. The second tip is minimal copying. So think of your packaging as a billboard or a television, and you have only so much of room to design on the packaging. Sometimes you have just 3 by 4 of label to design. How much benefits you want to show? You want to show benefits, certifications, logo, images, illustrations, pattern. There's so much you can do it. And on top of that, depends on your client. He wants to show every feature and every benefit on the packaging. So as a brand strategist, I really go through the exercise with them and take out the essence. What is the USP, unique selling point? What is the audience we are targeting? And what do you need from this? And those only the topic or those only the copy or key points has to be said on the packaging. But sometimes you need to tell your brand story also. So I'll show you a couple examples. For example, on the right side, I'm showing this packaging of CAD product. So it is very small space, but you can get creative to show your packaging. It's a Grand-Free taco shells, and it's very clear. It shows the authenticity of Mexican made with avocado oil. And you can use you only the words that you need as a copy on the packaging. Keep it minimal, concise, to the point. Don't overdo it. So if you do concise to the point, its user is overwhelmed and buying, and he has so much option. But if it is simple and very minimal, he is going to grab quickly your packaging. And the third is tell your story. So some brands needs to sell their authentic story to stand out on the market. So people loves a good story. So great brands are successful because they humanize themselves and become more relatable. So think about how can I relate with my audience today? With which kind of storytelling I can do? Like Steve Jobs always said in his quote that packaging is a theater and you can play your story on it. And it is so powerful quote. So you have opportunity to narrate your story. Make sure you are humanizing the brand and connecting with people's emotions, and clever copywriting can be done. For example, on the right side, I had designed this goddess's dressing packaging for chosen foods. It was specially targeted for the women empowerment, the very poised woman who's very powerful, and also how she stays calm in the storms. And it was more the goddesses line we are launching. So I showed her hair is, it's not the story can be tell only with the words. There are different things you can do with the shapes. And her hair is showing the power of her calmness of eye. And I use avocado as a third eye chakra because The company is the power source from avocado. All the products are made from avocado, and companies source the payment, employees, sales, everything goes from the avocado. So avocado is the energy of that company. So I use that as a third eye chakra. It's the energy of the company, and put it on the woman, and then place the certification and also her benefits on that. So, but it's kind of telling the story. It pop outs on from the different dressing, and the sales increased, and it really got Expo West got really featured this product when it launched. They launched in the market, and it's your job as a designer. It's our job, like I would say, is maximize the visual impact. The appearance should entice the consumer to come for a closer look, make it easy for consumer to understand your product from the first glance. So first glance, I'm seeing the goddess's packaging, or what the colors, or what are the shapes, is there any typography, or what I want my customer to see first. How do I differentiate? And I go in detail in my class, in my course, that how do you do that, how do you do the research, how do you do the competitor analysis, what to do and what not to do. All the detailed steps I can't show in the small session, but these are the key points you can keep in mind. Shapes, color, typography, hierarchy plays a role. You are the boss of your packaging. What you want consumer to see first, and second, I wouldn't use the word boss, I would use you are the navigator for them. So let them see what you want them to see first. You navigate them what they need to read first, second, or third. That's how you guide them. So,
Love these examples, by the way, Asha. Beautiful work. And
thank you.
yeah, this one's so eye-catching. The previous one, I love what you did with the kind of negative space of the goddess hair. Really, really creative. And it just, I think it shows that packaging doesn't need to be boring. It doesn't need to be plain.
No,
Um,
no, it doesn't need to be boring for sure.
yeah, like, and some of these designs, they're not ridiculously complicated. They're fairly simple shapes and compositions, but they're so effective and they're so eye-catching. So yeah, the balance which you achieve, I think is wonderful.
Yes, absolutely. It is a thought process behind, and this design got featured in Packaging of the World, and I had launched this design. But even the colors were playing a big role in this. So my process for the color selection with the Pantone theories, and how the color flavors feel, it's warm or cool, and I go in the deeper color study and come out with the color, and
Amazing.
also the design system, right? Because this are the term packaging always comes one product they launch, but in the pipeline they have different flavor which will come. Like for this flavor they launch the spice flavors first, but in the holiday season they launch spice, chai, cinnamon, in the Christmas. So we have to think all this as a packaging design ahead, that would this work for the extension of the brand. So those are
I'm
the key
so
things.
impressed whenever I have a consistent color. Like here, you've got the avocado with the brown and the green, and I find it so hard to get such a wide range of colors that don't clash and that actually work nicely with that consistent. And you've got this rainbow effect, and somehow none of them clash, and they all perfectly complement the avocado colors. How did you do
Yes.
that? It's really difficult, I think.
Yes, it is difficult. I'm teaching that detail in my course, but my key is I have a food background, and my culture of Indian is through the spices, and I'm very close to food. So
Mhm.
each and every flavor, I smell it, taste it, and I sit on it and I feel it, that what emotions it's creating in me. Is it spicy? Is it cool? And then I had a study of Pantone theory with, and they have some workshops, and I study the color. Some colors create some emotions in you. So what you want to create the emotion through this chipotle red. So I actually had a discussion with the director. She was choosing a different red, and I was on my point. No, we have to go with this red point. It should not clash with citrus pepper. So, and then yes, I was stuck on my point, and that the result, it connects, and it has to sold individually too, and as a group too. It has to work as a design system too. So it didn't if you understand color theory and understand what colors creates what emotions and how you want your audience to feel about it, so it's a thoughtful process, Tom. When you put it, then the results comes.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And I think Sam mentioned, wow, all these designs from Asha. Everything we've seen so far is your work, right?
Except the Siete,
Hmm.
except only the Siete brand. That was a good example. I wanted to show you the busy patterns in it. Except Siete, all are my packaging. But you can see detailed
Amazing.
case studies of these on my website. And unfortunately, now this brand has been grown. It was an Inc. 500 companies now. So they have repackaged everything and rebranded everything. They were in the process when I left. But
Oh no. Well, they
I'm
shouldn't have, because I love these these packages.
um, so that's a different topic, and I think we can discuss why brand needs to rebrand, and that's a brand needed to rebrand because when the startup company starts, and you, as Martin Neumeyer always says, Tom, that brand is like a fluid. It organically take the shapes, right? So when the brand is growing, you understand your target audience more, their needs more, and then you have to shape up your brand accordingly to their needs. So it was a time for that brand to shape up, and they did a good job by
Hmm.
California having the vibe. So but I'm very glad that I could do this, and this was selling and made a big profit for the company. It came in 500, and I had a great experience, so I'm happy with that.
Amazing.
So you want to create with me and see the process how we do it?
Yes, let's do it.
So for the first step, my first step is my research. Of course, the packaging starts way early with the client meeting and the strategy and content. That's a different topic, and I show that in the course a little bit, that how we talk and what information you need to take. But generally, I do my own research first for designing any packaging. I like inspiration or illustration, what is there in the market, what is their competitors are doing, so I should not do those things. I'm very clear about that. And what are the other, not, I generally go into the, if I'm designing oil packaging, I don't generally go in the oil section, but I will go in the different sections too. It's more about the design appearance. So I will just share with you today my process. I do the research first, and the secondly, I plan the content. And depends on what stage of design you are. Sometimes clients provides you that these are the key points I want on the packaging. Sometimes they need with help with strategy and what to put, what to create the brand story. So we have to do the little brand strategy behind it. But I teach my student, and I see that's uh, the pain point for as a designers. Then client keep on giving so much material, they keep on asking lots of concepts, and our time goes, and they don't pay so much, and it's frustrating experience. I've been there, and it's painful, and you can't say much, and you end up having frustration. So I created the workflow system which works better for me, and I share that with you. But today I will show you one glimpse, like a content planning. If you want to know, if you want to be efficient, please plan ahead. What are the contents it has to go in the packaging, heading, description, features, certifications, images. Sometimes the certification comes later, and then it is FDA rules are different, and you are putting it's a big space like 0.25 by 0.50 you have to put, and then you are design and there is no space to put it, and now you have to redesign it. So you should not come in those kind of situations. So I teach in my course how to plan the workflow, and in this also I want to encourage you, like, start arranging your content with the high priorities, and also list the backside copy. And if anybody needs help with the, I have this pre-designed checklist before design, what things needs to be ready from the client. I am happy to give it to you. You can DM me on my IG at Mindsy Design, or studio at Mindsy Design. Email me, and I will share this link. So you know before you start the packaging, this information needs to be ready, and then you jump on the packaging. Otherwise, it will be a lot of back and forth, and it creates a frustration. So I learned hard way, and I struggle, and I don't want you to struggle. So I'm happy to share that.
Well, we appreciate it. I think, it's always so good to fall back on someone else's experiences, because so much of it is trial and error. So if you can just help
Yes.
people shortcut it and say, okay, here's like the 20 things that went wrong for me, we're going to avoid them and we're going to go straight to the best solution.
Yes, yes. I came up with this checklist exactly that way. I did so many mistakes earlier, not asking right questions. And I have a different list and worksheets in my course also, like what kind of questions you should ask client when they come for the project. And you end up designing, like I had one experience with my student. He started designing it and with my friend actually, and then he got to know that that product doesn't go in the grocery normal aisle, it goes in the frozen section. Doom. It is whole lot of different thing in frozen section because your sides will be covered, and then you have to do little different thought process, right? So you should know where product is going and what kind of questions you should ask before clients. So this is for just the pre-designed checklist. If you have this checklist answer, you are good to go and start the design, so you don't have more round of revisions and you have enough information to take the right packaging design decisions.
Mm-hmm. Amazing.
After the research and content planning, Tom, I go to this step of my sketchings. I love to do sketchings, and I'm not a perfect drawing person, but just doing a rough drafts makes me um, take out all the thought ideas. And generally, my system works. If I 15 to 20 ideas, I have to put, and then the new ideas comes fresh in my mind, and I get inspiration and I start putting typography pattern, abstract, whatever is possible, and then I start designing it. So let me switch to Illustrator quickly, and I will show you from the sketch how do we go to this design today. I'm going to share Illustrator, and Tom, help me out if you see Illustrator. So I'm assuming mostly all of you know Illustrator, and if not, this is not the Illustrator class. And if you want to be a packaging design, you please need to invest in Illustrator. So as I showed you before, this is my process. I collect some examples, research in my folder, and I put it on that. And now I see what I like about this. Oh, okay. I'm liking the bold typography. I like the strong shapes here. Oh, okay. I'm loving the color see-through of the oil from the bottle, right? And the shapes are talking to me. I'm also wanting to try some illustration. I'm designing a sesame oil. The client wanted to design a very premium line of extra virgin toasted sesame oil. And I'm seeing how the sesame oil plant looks, and maybe I can hire an illustrator to draw for me. Or I love to do the pen drawing, so I can draw too. So these are the very early stage. I'm not even investing time on doing the complete illustration, and I just want to be smart about my time and efficient. So I start designing the sketches, and then I like, okay, let me start playing with it, and I start designing the. I feel I let me start with this sketch, and I have the things ready. You can see I'm showing you exactly the messy board I have. I have simple. This all ingredients needs to go, and I had created this to save time, just a simple leaves of the sesame seeds. I know the client's logo, what certification goes, net weight, there is a flavor, and those are the details. Here the beauty comes in mind, and when the design cuts assets comes very handy. They have amazing of mock-ups. If you see closely, I have designed this on the 3D bottle, all my sketches. It's not just on the square, because I see that how it's going to sit on the bottle. So you can take a bottle shapes, like if I can show you my Photoshop quickly. I had this mock-up, Tom, you must be recognizing from the packaging
I
bundle.
do. Yep.
Yeah. And then I just save as a transparent PNG and change the color to start my sketches. And there are white bottles, and there are lots of bottles. It might be open here too. I don't know if you guys see it. There are so many scenes Tom has ready, like so many packaging bundles are ready, and you can you can select whichever bundle you want, like whichever bottle you want to design. And I picked those bundle. I will show you in a while how I do it. So I've created this in Illustrator, and I have this simple packaging design. So generally, the sesame oil packaging, I have the content. So when the content is ready, it becomes very easy. I know it's this is the logo, it goes. I'm just roughly placing it right now. I'm not even thinking that I want this placement exactly. Okay, there will be the net width. Okay, maybe it goes here. I'm just playing very roughly. This looks too big. There are FDA rules and regulation, exactly the size of what is the X height should be for the net width and all. And those things I teach detail in the course. But this is I'm on only the concept development time. And I know the word is sesame oil. The product name is sesame oil. So I'm just taking a layer, and generally client gives you the brand guidelines, so you know what clients brand fonts are. For this client, they have the Ingeborg as a font. I'm just putting the big size, and I'm roughly just putting it right now on the packaging. And it helps me when it's a 3D, it helps me to understand. When it's a real bottle, it helps me to understand where it's going to sit. And then I had a word oil, and I'm going to use the Ingeborg for that again, the font from the company. And I'm just following the sketch. I want to create it. And I'm like, okay, maybe I need to be very big size for the oil. Anybody in the chat can type in the typography, what do you call on the dot of the I or J? If anybody knew.
Oh, I know this one, but type it in the chat,
Yeah,
please, and we'll
I'm
see who
pretty
gets
sure
it
you know,
first.
Tom.
Yeah. And go. There's Rhonda got it. Tittle, right?
Title,
Yeah.
yeah. It is a Latin word, titalion, and it comes from that. So you see those dots on J or I, they call it as a title. I call it title or title, you can call. And now I'm just playing with it, and I'm just referring sketch how I'm looking at here. And now I'm thinking that, okay, I need to create as an outline so I can delete this. And of course, you can do your type settings later. I'm in a very rough draft process right now. Maybe I want to look like that. And maybe I want the sesame to come here. I just want to show you how I'm making a rough concept. So, and then maybe oil is bigger and the black is too loud. So I'm going to use company's green color, what they have provided me as their key color of the brand. Oops. And now it's what is it about? It's a flavor. So you can see I'm just putting the flavor name I want in the center. So it is bold, and it's a toasted flavor. So I have selected the brown color, and there's a, you can see actually sesame seeds and do it. Now I have spoke about it, the contrast typefaces, how you have to compare contrast in the last session. I want this to be also, oh no, the company had given the font din condense. So I'm going to do din condense like a medium. And I'm just doing a little tracking here, maybe a little more. And I'm looking for the small caps or all caps maybe. And I'm changing the color. No outline, please. So I'm just roughly putting and seeing how the composition is working. Is it balancing? Is it too much? So I'm just playing with it. It looks like there is some extra space. And I'm just putting it here. So the point here, I'm just showing you that, and then I had this plant also, which I created. Let me do Command Shift bracket to come. Now it's looking noisy. So I'm maybe, how about I put it here? How about I make it small? So I'm thinking this, I'm just showing you how my process is working. But if you see from the sketches, I design lots of concepts. So, and put very roughly,
Oh, wow.
but I know yeah, but I know that I have to present four concepts to client. It depends on what they are paying you and what you are committed for the in the contract. So I'm just playing with it, but I don't show. I want to show that the for designs, but you can see how roughly I designed some concept. I don't even use and go in the detailing. Those are the images because I'm at the concept developing stage. And you see how I made this on the transparent bottle of 3D. And those are the mock-up comes very handy to understand how realistically product can look. But now I don't like how it looks on completely white or completely color. I kind of like this how the color is seen through, because what happens if the oil get finished here, the oil won't be readable, right?
Hmm.
So I'm going to mix the white what I have designed earlier and the see-through colors too. So
People are loving these designs, by the way.
thank you.
So many people saying how beautiful they are, and even though it's kind of more quick at this phase, putting these layouts, you can immediately see, as you know, imagining I'm the client, I immediately know which ones I like the most and which ones stand out
Yes.
to me.
And that's the objective. I have been there, like where I'll go and detail create the illustration, and I spend 5 6 hours on that and end up client rejecting it. So I get my client in the journey of the design. I don't believe in giving the surprises. They are like a collaborating together, and I've learned this hard way. It helps me to save time, and it helps them to not to get surprised at the end. So that's the beauty works with me, and it's more partnership and collaborative effort. And now I'm presenting this. So beautiful part comes with design cut is. Um, I use a lot of mock-ups like this scene I have used to present the client. I want to just show how about only three concepts to them, three to four. So my concepts, if you see my layer, oops, where did my layer go? Hold on.
I actually love working with mock-ups as well. It's so much fun.
I love it. Who loves it? Sorry, I missed what did you
I
say?
do, honestly. I have so much fun working with scene creators and mock-ups.
The beauty about this mockups are so well designed from design cuts. I can completely switch off. I don't want so much garlic to be seen. I don't want garlics or I don't want herbs. I can just completely dive it. But if you can see how I quickly cleaned it, and I replaced into three bottles instead one. I use the same markup, and I place my designs on that. I believe in like show them like a mild, medium, and spice version, and generally the medium version gets picked. This was the mild design. This is the medium, which is closer to brand and little away from the brand, and this was spicy, which is little away from showing the gold foil and exclusive for the premium line. But it is like a conceptual stage. It's not perfectly designed. It is just need to know the approval draft stage. So client like, of course, he went with this design, and I wanted to show those sesame seeds and how it can get edge on the glass. So there's a different things you need to learn about the material and printer, which I cover a little bit in the course, but I will show you in the Illustrator. So after this design, now I have a client designed, selected this one, and then the problem was, oh, we are thinking to design three more flavors with it: chili, toasted, and extra virgin oil. I'm like, can you show me this design system can work? And as a designer, I need to pre-think these things that all more four flavors comes. How do I do it? So I end up designing the same thing, but just changing the color for the extra virgin and chili infused. And it's not a big step. Like in Illustrator, I created this. So I will show you now. Client want to see the presentation, like a client want to see how the design system works with the different flavors too. So I quickly go and those mockups comes handy. Mm. So I have my own mock-up bundle, and the team must be sharing in the chat. I don't see it right now, any chat, but yeah, feel free to see my favorite packaging bundles. So I think this mock-ups gives me lots of flexibility, right? I can show different colors of the bottle. Oh, there is a black bottle. how do I show now red bottle, and how do I see this top view and show them the realistic view, which can be easily sell, client gets sold, and design can move faster in the process. So I bring this one into the Photoshop.
How do you choose between adding illustrations versus a real picture of the product or ingredient?
Very good question, Cham. I'm glad you asked. It depends on the brand story, how you want to show it, the brand story. It depends. Like for the avocado goddesses packaging, client had this avocado unique image which we have to use it was from the client side. So you need to decide. Sometimes I use images, sometimes I use illustration. Depends on what is the brand story can be tell effectively, and that's completely flexibility in your hand. So for avocado, I use the image of the avocado. It was done photo shoot, and client had that point as a recognition in all the store, that image. So we wanted to have a brand equity, and every consumer keep on seeing that avocado, they recognize that this is from the chosen food. But slowly it become a problem so much that we understood the consumer is just recognizing the avocado and not recognizing the brand name. So then that's why we had to do the rebranding thing.
That
So
makes
it
sense.
depends. Yeah, it depends how much you want to show. It depends on the brand strategy, to be honest, and how you can say the brand story. And it's your freedom. You present to client both the option if you want, and see what connects more and relates more.
Hmm.
So here, I like this packaging. I choose this scene, and I don't want to show this extra peppers. So I'm switching off, and you can have so much flexibility and so well designed this mockups. I highly recommend to use it. I want to bring my design here and create the scene so I can show it to client. And I quickly take the toasted avocado oil, and I don't want the background. I'm copying it from here. And if you go to the bottle, you have place your design here, and you double click, and everybody must be knowing it's very simple. Place it. I like to do it as a smart object. And but there are some trick I have learned, and I can show you. So I place the design here, pressing enter and saving in the file so it reflects on the original design. So now you can see that it's coming on the design. It's good, or pros and cons of this is it's reflecting or same on all the bottles, which I don't want them to have a same colors and design. So, and I want this bottle to have a little white sleeves and see through the color. So I will show you. I'm creating a new layer, and quickly with the tool, marquee tool, I'm creating just the white. Like I want to show like a white sleeves, and I'm filling it with alt backspace front color. And now I'm going to go to the bottle layer, and I'm pressing control to, I need to get mask in the shape of the bottle, right? And I'm just clicking mask, and yeah, the mask is done for the white layer. But now it's not looking realistic very much. So I'm going and reducing the over opacity little bit. That's too much. So it shows through those gloss and internal ingredients also, and the lighting comes perfectly through the sleeves. So I end up designing the sleeves for it. But now I know that toasted avocado or toasted sesame oil is a darker shade. So with this markups, it is so good features that you go to the layer, and I'm just playing with little hue saturation, and oh, but it's happening to the whole thing. So because I didn't clip it, so what I do is I press alt, click between the layers, and it applies only the bottle. But if you see, the bottle oil color has been changed now, it's darker.
I love the attention to detail.
Yeah, it's because we need to see what are the oil color can reflect and we can use as a design element into the process. And actually, you know what? I didn't wanted the white sleeves color so big. I wanted this to be edge. So let me delete it and I will click redesign. So I wanted to present client option that we can edge the glass and show the little high-end bottle and selecting the layer. And I like to name this layer so I don't get confused. And I'm masking it.
How do you tend to choose colors for your packaging design? Quite a big question.
So I teach that in my course deeply. And I just mentioned earlier that I taste the color, I see the ingredients, what are the ingredients are, pick the colors from that, and I have a process what emotions the color colors can make it, and I select the colors on that. I have studied little color theory, which helps me to decide the colors. There are lots of color books and blogs you can read and understand what emotions it can design. So you can see that here. I hope I answer you, Neeta, the question. If you have more question, you can definitely DM me, or you can walk through the course and you can see in detail how I do it. So here I did the toasted, and I'm just selecting the bottle and I'm replacing it here. So I'm making a duplicate copy.
Do you ever have influence over the type of package, in this case, the type of bottle that's used, or do you just have to work with what they tell you?
You mean I have to select the shape of the bottle, influence on the bottle?
Yeah. Do you ever get that option, or they always tell you the shape?
Depends on the client. Sometimes clients need help, so we end up ordering lots of samples of bottles and then we select from it. For example, my recently hot sauce brand I launched, you can see the case study on my website. They have that specific bottle and they just wanted to use that, so I created a die line and I made the product for that. But other client needed to see different kinds of bottles, so we ordered and then I photo shoot quickly and use it and put the designs on and see. It is about how consumer wants to see the functionality, how it's easy for consumer to hold the bottle or material. It also depends on that. So I help clients to make the right decisions.
Amazing. I want to say an enormous thank you for today's session. And I want to make sure that we quickly talk about your course because it is so incredible.
Yeah, I'm done. And I just showed them how you can replace the design and change the oil color. So it's completely from my side, it's done how to came on this design. And I showed you that. Yeah. I showed you that in my keynote presentation. And that's the design I end up having it after designing using that
Amazing.
mock-up.
So first of all, let's give it up for Asha in the chat because that was amazing. So many practical tips. That's what struck me about this session. It's super, super practical and filled with real world examples, which is my favorite way to learn. So I hope everyone's feeling really empowered how to think about packaging, some of the considerations, maybe stuff you didn't think about in these projects. Like Asha says, often it's trial and error. So I appreciate you being such a great teacher and helping the audience today with all of that and all of the design colors with us. Thank you again for teaching the DC community today. We really appreciate you, Asha, and we can't wait to welcome you back very soon.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and appreciate to be your time.
Amazing.